Hi there. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we're going to take a look at a couple of Major League Baseball game used jerseys. This happens to be one of them. And I was kind of curious, doing some research, what game was this jersey used during? So I'm going to go ahead and put in the code into the MLB Authentication website and see what comes up. All right, let's put this code in. Put the code in. This is a JP Crawford Mariners jersey. Comes up, it's pulling up right now on the MLB Authentication website. Oh boy, we have a problem, and we're going to talk about it on today's video. Stay tuned. Hi there, how's it going? Welcome to the Tulsa to Seattle Productions YouTube channel. Today, we're going to take a look at two baseball jerseys I picked up recently. One game used and one possibly game used, but it's categorized as team issued. We're also going to take a look at MLB's authentication system and point out some of the flaws with their processes. If this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome and thank you for swinging by. Please consider subscribing for future content. But now let's get to these jerseys. It's not every day you get the opportunity to purchase a friend's jersey. Someone who spends 200 plus days a year in a Major League Baseball dugout. Someone who sacrificed so much to get to where he is. Someone who gets to be around the greatest players in their particular sports. I got to meet Carson Vitale in January of 2003 at Mariners Fantasy Camp that was held at the Mariners Spring Training Facilities in Peoria, Arizona. My locker was set up 2 stalls down from his and quickly became someone I could ask questions to and learn more about the game and learn more about who he is as a person. From the very get-go, the first thing I asked him when we went into the locker room and we all saw our jerseys for the very first time was, "Do you ever get tired of this?" And his response was absolutely not. Right then and there, I knew how much of a privilege it was for him to be able to put on that uniform every single day during the baseball season. Throughout that week, I was fortunate enough to be on a team co-managed by Carson and former Mariners bench coach John McLaren. It was an incredible experience, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity. Being in that clubhouse for the entire week and having Carson just 2 stalls over next to me, being able to ask him questions on how they operate things, their coaching philosophies, really opened my eyes to exactly how much work goes in behind the scenes to make the team successful. I've been able to stay in contact with Carson pretty regularly over the last 2 seasons, just exchanging text messages back and forth. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a lot different not seeing him in that Mariners dugout next year. But we wish him all the best of luck in Miami and know he's gonna do great. Let's start talking about this jersey now. So what you see behind me is the Northwest Green Seattle Mariners alternate. These typically used to be worn on Friday nights prior to the City Connect jerseys making their debut for the Seattle Mariners in 2023. Now they're on a little bit more of an irregular schedule. We typically only see them worn at home and occasionally on the road, but it's very rare. These have become almost a Saturday evening jersey now for the Mariners. This jersey here, we'll start looking at it a little bit more in depth, but the cool story behind this jersey is this one was actually worn September 30th, 2022. If you Google that date and the Mariners, there's a pretty significant game that happened that evening. The Mariners ended a 20-year playoff drought, clinching a playoff berth in walk-off fashion that night on a walk-off home run by Cal Raleigh. This is that jersey from that game that Carson got to wear, and I'm thrilled to be able to add that to my collection. Let's take a look at it. What you have here is the Seattle Mariners Northwest Green alternate jersey. This is from the 2022 season, and this jersey originally made its debut during the 1994 season, although there are some changes and differences between that original version and this most up-to-date version. 1994 also coincidentally happened to be Major League Baseball's 125th anniversary season. This jersey, as you can see, is predominantly Northwest green, with that being the primary fabric color. You're also going to get a metallic silver Nike swoosh on the chest, as well as the Mariners word mark in a navy blue outline with a sparkly metallic silver tackle twill. On the sleeve, you're also going to get the Mariners compass roundel logo. Traditionally, this has always been on the left arm sleeve, but prior to the 2023 season, Major League Baseball started making changes to the location of that sleeve patch, switching it to either left or right arms based on whether or not a hitter was left or right-handed or a pitcher threw right or left-handed. Typically on that other sleeve, you would find an advertisement patch. As of today, the Mariners are one of very few teams to not have a sponsorship patch anywhere on their jerseys. And in my honest opinion, I hope it stays that way. On the back of this jersey, the metallic sparkle effect on the tackle twill really shines through. This is available only on the authentic versions of these jerseys. It is not available at the retail level. You can also notice that once again, you have the navy blue outline on both the name and the numbers that are stitched onto the back of the jersey. Up near the top above the navy blue scoop on the spoon effect, you see the Batterman logo. It is a plastic shiny material which was still being used prior to the 2024 season by some teams. Funny enough, some teams switched to a more of a cloth style Batterman MLB logo during the 23 season, depending on available inventory for the game worn and team issued jerseys that the teams and the players wore. Some of them still had a surplus of this previous version of the Batterman logo, which was used by teams until their stock depleted completely, and then they made the switch. Looking here at the MLB Authentication laundry tag, you'll see that there was a change to these made prior to the 2022 season. You'll see that there is the code that you can plug into MLB's authentication website, but in addition, it now requires a special 3-letter combination that can only be seen on the hologram. This has made it incredibly difficult to look up jerseys online if you are looking to purchase from websites such as eBay, because that information is not typically available unless you are reaching out to the seller for more information. This jersey is also a size 46, which is only available to the players and team issued. At the retail level, authentic jerseys are in sizes 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, and 60. Although I could be wrong, I don't believe I've seen a size 60 baseball jersey available for retail. The players and the coaches have access to additional sizes that aren't available to us fans. Players can get a size 42, a 46, and a 50 that we would not have available to us, the fans. Something to just consider. Now let's go back and take a look at the original jersey shown at the beginning of this video. What you have here is a team-issued, possibly game-worn, Sunday home alternate that was issued to Mariners shortstop J.P. Crawford. These jerseys were originally introduced during the 2015 season and feature the same template on the front as the home whites and the alternate Northwest green. Same Mariners word mark on the front that stretches across the front of the jersey, as well as the same compass patch featured on the sleeves. The jerseys also have a blue piping spoon effect, identical to both that home white and that Northwest green alternate. Where you see the real differences on this jersey is when you look at the back of it. The back of this jersey has no name and features only the Batterman logo and the player's jersey number. If you look closely at the jersey number, and I'll put a side-by-side of the Sunday home alternates and the Northwest green, the jersey number on the back of the Sunday alternate the number is much larger. Can't tell from far away, but up close, there is a definite difference. Also, looking at the back of this jersey, you'll also see what appears to be either some dirt stains or possibly some coffee spilled, but I doubt it's coffee. It's more than likely probably dirt, leading me to think that this jersey was more than likely probably worn in a game. When you start to look at the authentication of this jersey is where we really start seeing a lot of the problems, and we'll talk about those next. One of the goals I have for this channel is to share my knowledge of game used and team issued items, as well as providing a space for others to also share their knowledge and share their opinions. I'm sure there's probably some stuff I'm going to miss in this video, so if you have any additional information you'd like to provide or any opinions, feel free to drop those in the comment section. I read every single comment that gets posted on my videos, and I try to respond to them all as well. I'm going to probably put myself in one of the corners of the screen up here, and we're going to start talking about this MLB certification. So the first thing that sticks out as I pull that up on the screen, this JP Crawford jersey was authenticated August 1st of 2023. So there's already an issue here. That date just is basically the date that they authenticated the jersey and logged it into their database. It doesn't mean it was used during that particular day. August 1st of 2023 also happened to be a Tuesday, so there's no way this jersey would have been worn on that day anyway. So here's where the issues start. 2023, the Seattle Mariners hosted the All-Star Game, meaning all jerseys except for the City Connect. The City Connect did not have these All-Star patches on them. The Mariners compass logo was replaced with the 2023 All-Star Game patch on every single one of their jerseys, not including the City Connect. This jersey has the compass logo. So when trying to determine when this jersey was used, it's almost impossible, but we can rule out 2024 just based on the materials of the jersey and 2023 with the omission of the All-Star Game patch. So that leaves us 2020, 2021, and 2022 as possible seasons that this jersey would have been used. We have no way of knowing unless we could possibly photo match this, which I haven't even begun to try to attempt to do. Just a lot of games to just a lot of games to go through trying to find that particular spot with the dirt stains or whatever it is on the back of the jersey. It's a tall task and just one I haven't had time to even begin messing with. So here's kind of my thoughts with the issues with MLB's authentication. Let me share those with you. From what I know, at the beginning of a season, each player on the team is given 2 jerseys of each one of the uniforms that they're going to wear. Basically meaning 2 home whites, 2 Northwest green, 2 Sunday alternate, 2 City Connect, and then 2 navies in terms of the Mariners at the beginning of the season. Now the players typically will have alterations and customizations done to their jerseys just because they want them to fit a particular way. And it's likely too that the jerseys might be 2 different sizes just based on how the player's feeling that particular day. Well, part of MLB's authentication, part of the issues is just the sheer amount of games that they played during the season, 162 games. It is impossible for them to use one jersey for an entire season. So they're constantly recycling these, switching them out, auctioning them off, and a lot of times they don't get authenticated until after they've been used for multiple games. This is a team issue for a lot of teams where they don't catalog what games particular jerseys were used for. Some teams are better than others. The Mariners notoriously have been not good at communicating when the jerseys are used. Typically, the teams will also auction them off after a big win or somebody hits like a walk-off home run. Then the jersey gets taken out of circulation and usually listed on MLBauctions.com, where somebody can spend a good amount of money to acquire those jerseys for those particular events. But so often, so many of these jerseys, because there's no database, the teams cannot identify them always as game used. There's no way of knowing because they open themselves up to all sorts of lawsuits basically if somebody wanted to go down that path. Some teams, like I said, are better than others. A couple of good ones, the San Francisco Giants and Minnesota Twins. If you reach out to them, they can provide you a spreadsheet of what jerseys they have available for sale, and if they're game used, what games the jerseys were used in. It's super helpful, and I wish more teams took those steps. Each team is responsible for their own authentication processes and hires somebody to oversee those processes. Sure, each team is going to have very specific requirements for their items, but there's no definitive getting from point A to point B that each team follows. They're going to have their own processes. One of my suggestions would be to immediately catalog things as soon as they are used, either after a game, before the jerseys and rest of the uniforms are placed into the laundry, or as soon as a jersey is taken out of circulation and a new one is issued to the players, immediately start cataloging it and keeping track of what games the jerseys are used for each player. That's a lot of extra steps. I know it's a lot of extra time, but in an industry where honesty and transparency is so greatly needed, this is a necessary change that needs to be implemented. The other sports, NBA, I believe, faces a lot of the same problems, maybe not to the extent just based on the amount of games, but the NHL and NFL, due to the NFL only having, just a small handful of games, and they use 3 or 4 jerseys, different styles as well. The NHL has been very strict on their sticking to tradition and only issuing sets for time periods throughout the season. It's a completely different way of doing things, and it's a little bit easier to kind of figure out when something was used and, basically deem that it is in fact been game used. So there's a lot of problems with baseball right now with this authentication process. Transparency, honesty is needed. How do we get there? That is my suggestion. I'm sure others will also have their thoughts and opinions. Please share those with me in the comments. I look forward to reading them all. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me ramble on about game used jerseys and baseball and some of the problems with the authentication process. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and ring the bell for notifications for when I post new videos. Also consider watching some of my previous videos. I'll have a couple of those posted on the screen somewhere, as well as check out the backlog of other videos I've made as well here in the last couple of months. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate your support. Let's keep this thing rolling. We'll hopefully have another video out soon. In the meantime, be nice to each other and take care out there. See you guys.